What's everybody going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to go trick-or-treating on my own.
Halloween ain't no joke.
Halloween ain't no joke.
Halloween ain't no joke.
I'll tell you, it's real scary to be a police officer on Halloween.
Oh, we don't go near any place with spooky, haunted, forbidden, or creepy in the name.
It's Lake Effect. It's the Scott and Steve Show on Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio. Scott and Steve.
Hit all the computers.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
I don't know. Jeremiah turned it on a little early. Caught me in the middle of conversation.
We are back to the world famous Scott and Steve Show. And how we doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I just realized, I think yesterday or the day before, well, I think it was on Sunday when Jeremiah and I were miscellaneously doing stuff on Facebook regarding the NFL. I said, wait a minute, I'm
a winner.
Pizza.
You're a winner.
You know,
I think I'm a winner also.
I was out last week, so
yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys made any bets last week, but
no, we did not. But I do know he owes us both, I believe now, because
no, it was me against you two.
Yeah,
you guys said the Browns were going to beat Baltimore.
I went Hart. Okay,
Yeah.
then I owe you. Then I will.
Actually, you don't because you spotted me on the one that he
that's
won.
right.
So it's a wash.
So we're washed.
He owes me.
Okay, all right.
He owes me a
You look
slice.
hungry too, I might add.
Yeah, I might just get it to go and save it for lunch.
There you go. That's a good idea.
I was thinking this morning when he sent that lovely email and that should I go and play the thing of, except it's not been a complete year of, well, no, I didn't make that bet. Well, you could choke on your pizza.
I only remember when I win, dude. I'll be honest with you.
I'll be honest with you. I come in here, look at you guys. Did I win? All right.
I mean, we might have to use the board here is filling up with
stuff.
many characters and drawings.
Well, I can get an eraser for that.
We might have to make our own little spot there to kind of
get an eraser. He
said,
said,
an eraser.
Give us a spot.
All right.
Use that bottom corner
it's
right there.
over there.
right. A lot of aliens and whatnot being drawn on up here.
Well, Halloween is coming, so
it is.
That would make sense for that.
Do you have any plans?
Really
Do you have any plans for Halloween? I mean, I know Halloween isn't what it used to be. People are trying to get rid of it and assign it to other things.
I actually am a huge Halloween fan.
Me too.
I love Halloween. So at our house, I live in a neighborhood where there's a gazillion kids, and people ship their kids into our neighborhood to walk the streets and stuff to get it. So every year I usually dress up in a outfit that is somewhat scary to little kids.
Sure.
Middle-aged kids are usually okay with it, but the little kids are usually a little afraid.
Right.
And I dress all in black and stuff, and I'll sit there with candy. We have a fire going. I order some pizza. Maybe have
a fire going in the driveway.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe get a beverage or two out there for my friends and stuff to stop by. I'll have them
adult
have
trick-or-treaters.
Adult trick-or-treaters. And so as they come by, I'll be really still. And then if it's a little kid, depending on how little they are, I'll jump at them last minute. It's great to watch them scream and run. It's the best.
And more candy for you.
And more candy for me. But we go through probably about 500 to 600 pieces a night usually. Though this year, my wife is trying to convince me to put the bag in a bowl and have her and I just go out to dinner or something like that instead.
Outstanding.
So I don't know what we're going to do. I like the scaring part, but we'll see.
Well,
Well, you can't trust
going back to my days, even in high school and middle school, whatever. I mean, because I still love trick or treating through high school. It didn't bother me, and and I don't care that kids come to the house that are their teens.
I'm the same.
I don't care.
I have no problem with that as well.
Enjoy it. But those houses where they'd leave the unattended bowl or whatever.
Gone in first trick or treat. I always wanted to be first there.
Just pour it right in, baby.
Last year, one year, my wife did do it. We were because I went across the street with my neighbors because they were having a little get together there, and so we did put a bowl out, and I just watched it because I was literally across the street. And my wife put a sign, "Please take one." It's like first person, boom, dump, gone.
Keep the honest ones honest.
Yeah, right.
Well, obviously you and I are older than our average listener, I'm assuming.
Unless we live
Halloween is not the same as it used to be.
In our neighborhood, 6 to 8. Are you kidding me? It's still daylight at time when they're starting. No, I don't go for that.
I remember Halloween being dark.
Yes.
I remember, multiple stops back home to empty the pillowcase because that's what we used pillowcases.
That's what I use as well. Yep.
Just literally full on sprints, house to house to house, and it seemed like every house participated.
Yes.
No
longer the case.
So my experience as an adult, as growing up, if you will, no longer trick or treating, but partaking in the passing out.
Right.
where we used to live in Euclid, nonstop, 2 hours, just pure trick or treating.
Right.
Kids everywhere.
Right.
I'd be on the stoop passing them out. Of course, my wife, don't give them so much. Don't give them so much, because I'm always like, here, man,
Handful, boom, go.
boom, boom.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, come 6:45, we're all out of candy.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've learned to not
Cut it back a
not
little
feel
bit.
bad, but I have to spread it out.
Yeah.
So no kidding. I mean, I know candy's cheap, but we used to drop about $350 in candy.
Oh, I haven't done that. Okay.
I mean,
all right.
I'm not kidding you, and I'm
You got
telling
the
you,
full-size
it's-
bar.
No. But I mean, we would definitely drop the money,
Right.
So then we moved, and not knowing, having experienced the Halloween in the neighborhood we're in now,
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Seems like decent neighborhood where there's a lot of kids and this and that.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to cut the budget in half. So went out, bought about $150 worth of candy, and I kid you not, I think we had 20 kids that day.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, holy
snap.
moly! I mean, we had candy coming
Then
out
you're
of
eating
our
it forever.
eyeballs.
That's the worst. Yeah.
So ever since then, though, that's kind of been the standard: 20 to 25 kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
no, we get that in
there's
the
some
first 10
families
minutes.
that have younger kids now that
Sure,
are
sure.
bringing them up, but still, it usually peters out about 7:15,
Oh, wow. Now, our neighborhood is definitely not like that.
and there's not as many houses that participate anymore.
I would say that's
I mean,
Sure.
I don't even have kids.
right.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I love sitting out there like you.
Yep.
I mean, I don't necessarily make it a point to give kids a heart attack, but I love seeing the creativity.
Right.
There's some really cool homemade costumes out
Yes.
there.
Yep.
And just I guess reliving my youth through them and just enjoying
it's fun.
it.
I agree. I think it's a lot of fun. So we try. So what I try to do is we have different types of candy. We have the lesser popular candy, and then we have the more popular candy. The Reese's.
So
the
you
Snickers. So I try to give out the lesser popular first, with the
Right.
hopes, of course, that we won't give it all away.
'Cause you want some good
because I want
candy.
some for my own self. I mean, let's be honest
Right.
here, But it hasn't worked out that way the last few years. It's pretty much all been gone. So, but the bad news is my daughter, she still trick or treats,
Cool.
and dresses up, goes out with her friends and everything. And I as with you,
Right.
go have fun. I don't have a problem with that. And so what she does is she brings it home, and she'll share a little bit with me, like
Okay.
a couple pieces. Then the rest she'll bring up into her room and stash it, because if she leaves it anywhere else in
fair
the house,
game.
it's fair game. And also our dog will
Oh, really?
will get into it,
Yeah.
and she'll
Wow.
and eat the whole everything.
Little chocoholic.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. But anyway, so trick or treat, great time, love it. It's on a Thursday this year.
Yeah.
So I'm actually Friday. That Friday, my oldest daughter, she's a senior this year.
Mm-hmm.
Has her first hockey game that Friday night down in Baltimore. So I'm going to be going down to Baltimore to watch her play.
Baltimore, Ohio.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, you said down, so I'm like,
Well, it's down and over, down and east. So southeast, I'm going to Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay,
We'll watch her play Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday night we'll be heading to Shippensburg, as my youngest has a game she's got to be at in Shippensburg on Saturday, and Sunday she's in a clinic. So that's my weekend.
Good
so,
for you, man.
Yeah, man.
On
So
the road.
already planned out and ready to go. So
cool.
Yep. A lot of fun.
Jeremiah, you going out for Halloween, or are you kind of guy who likes to sit at home and decorate and pass out?
No, that ship
Pass out candy, I should say.
Yeah, no, that ship
Why?
that's
Which the sale? There's giving it out or dressing
Well,
up? and
no,
going out?
dressing up and that died.
Man, you're missing out.
That died
I
sometime.
got an awesome
my,
toy chainsaw. I
Nice.
love it.
Yep.
I want to say before my freshman year in high school,
Right?
and that everyone was going, "Well, you're too old" or whatever.
Oh,
and
man.
that.
Oh,
I just gave up
all
after
through high
that.
school, man.
Nah,
Go get the candy, then get the eggs.
We used to exactly right. That was me growing up.
Right.
Smashing pumpkins.
And
throwing
that's the
eggs.
funny thing is the uniform and him saying that.
Well,
Oh man, we
all have the
it's a
past.
job,
We
baby.
all have the
It's a
past.
job.
So we used to we used to make it so kids would have to do things to get pieces of candy. Like we used to have like a bowl of peeled grapes that we would call them, like eyeballs and stuff, and have kids have to reach in to get stuff. We'd have the spaghetti out with a cover out, so they have to reach down and grab stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but
That's interesting.
Yeah, my wife used to love it. We play, of course, the music in the background with people
Yeah.
screaming and stuff. But again, when it's daylight out, it's like,
Right.
what's the point? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
But
back in the day, because I actually knew like two of the houses and their kids, sort of what they looked like. So when I started just going in handing it out, so I always started when I seen them come and hide off, and they
Absolutely.
scare the daylights
Do it.
out of them.
absolutely. In our old
Not with
neighborhood,
the fog machine and all
Right.
that stuff. Yeah.
we have a fog machine. We used to do that every year too, and then we had we hang up like the skeletons, of course, in
Right.
the garage and all that kind of stuff. But we used to in our old house neighborhood, we used to have a lot of trees with a lot of leaves and stuff like that. So we'd have leaf piles in the front because I used to pick it up. You hide in the leaf pile. Jump out, scare the crap out of people. It's
See, the
all
problem with
kinds
me,
of
man,
stuff,
I'd be waiting like a good 10, 15 minutes in between
Yeah.
waves.
Yeah, no, we're waiting that kind of time because it
Yeah.
takes that long for people to go by. They see you getting in.
Sure,
what
you
I
want to
mean?
make sure that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So then you got to wait for a few minutes.
He's under the leaves.
Yep, yep.
No, I hid under the car once and
Yeah.
scared the daylights out of a kid.
Yeah, we haven't done the car route. I haven't got under that, but that's
Just started screaming when they were walking up the driveway. That
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
me.
yeah, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on these? And I know we haven't even touched on sports yet, but
That's all right.
What are your thoughts on some of these communities that do the alternative Halloween, maybe at the community center? Or I think they're just sucking the life out of the essence of the good time.
I agree, and I understand it philosophically. I understand it.
I don't.
I don't like it.
I don't even understand it philosophically, and I'll tell you why.
Go
I'll
ahead.
tell you why, and this is sometimes a reality, right? And it's a safer atmosphere.
Well, that's it. That was it. So you understand it.
Whether it be we're doing it in a safer atmosphere because of. Lord knows what they're getting in the candy, or
Right.
or whose Lord knows whose houses they're
So
visiting.
you want the honest
You are living
answer?
in a more informed time right now.
Right.
Back in the 80s or 70s or whatever, we were knocking on those doors.
That's exactly right.
Those people still existed. We just didn't know about it.
That's right.
So I
Well,
don't.
that's even like the 90s.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you by not including the 90s.
Let me.
Well, he does
look,
have the
But you know what I'm
haircut
saying.
for it.
I mean,
I know.
it's
All right, here's the honest answer. All right, safety is what's given.
Right.
The honest answer: you got parents who don't want to walk up and down streets with their kids.
Horrible.
And heaven forbid I have to walk down a street and.
But there was
and
an
do that.
age, there was a time, and I mean, even elementary school, we went out in a group. Our parents weren't
Well,
with
that's
us.
exactly right, man.
Our parents were not with us.
It's a few years. I went off by myself.
Right.
My sister
Right.
did her own thing.
Sure.
I don't know when my parents stopped going, but I do know specifically. I'm in kindergarten, 5, 6, 7. I was going with my older brothers,
Sure.
neighborhood kids. There's no parents around. Are you
Right.
kidding me? You're gone, man.
Right.
And you started at dark, and it wasn't for only 2 hours.
Right.
You're out until
As long as they had that light on, man, you knocked on that
you're
door.
exactly right. And if they didn't have the light on, if they're the one house that didn't have it on, that's the one.
There
that's
were
getting,
times- I mean-
they're getting their pumpkins broke. They're getting.
You had so much candy, it lasted you almost till summer.
Exactly right, man. Those
if-
were
if-
great days.
because there were obviously parental intervention only in the fact of,
don't eat it all in one
rationing
night.
candy.
Right.
Yep. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're listening, go out, celebrate it, have a great
Absolutely,
night.
get out and have fun. Yeah, And it's a great time. Halloween's awesome though, and I love it. Halloween, we're gonna have a Halloween show here, right? Or Halloween party.
Halloween
here.
party, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's. Do we know the dates of that?
We do.
Yeah,
It's
24th.
24th, Thursday the 24th.
So it's a week early.
Yeah.
All right, it's a week early.
It always is.
It's always a week before, yeah.
Right. So with that, they do have both a kid-friendly time and
Right.
then a more adult time, if
I
you will.
think
for
that's
students
6
and
to
stuff.
8, and then 9 to 11
Right.
is the adult.
So I would encourage everyone to come out. The kids dress up.
It's a
great
good time.
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
the hay rides. Doing
Yep.
the hay rides again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they,
That just started this past weekend.
organizing it. Oh, you mean at the Metro
At
Park?
Metro Park.
Right, but
That, I don't know.
I thought they brought the hayride in from the Metro Parks for this event.
I think they did
Oh,
one
they
year.
did
I don't know if they're
something
doing it
different.
again, though.
I don't know.
Thing.
All I know is the past couple of years, Cab has done a really outstanding job of decorating the
Yes,
campus.
yes.
A couple
But
days
they're
before.
actually doing a haunted hallway.
Ooh, a haunted hallway.
What hallway is it? Do we know?
I don't
It's a
know.
haunted one. Didn't you know?
It's someplace over there on that end of the campus, either in Y or
Is it in
L.
Moreland?
I don't know.
Could be in Moreland.
That would
No.
see now if they were to do something in
Spooky
Moreland,
place.
that would be the place to do it.
Spooky
Man. There's so
place.
many.
Had some weird
you
things
can send them
happen
into
out
the
there.
basement. You can send them upstairs.
Yeah, the
There-
basement's kind of a short basement, so
All the better.
injury prone. But I don't
Sign
know.
a waiver as you go in.
I tell you what, I wouldn't go. That place is spooky. I mean, it's a really cool place to visit.
I think that's the time to have it. That's awesome.
Had some weird things happen.
Yeah. Very good.
enough.
Very good. Halloween, gotta love it.
Well, talking about weird things, the Browns didn't win Sunday.
No, they showed up.
They came out with a vengeance.
Oh yeah.
You know, I actually tuned in. I believe it or not, it was Sunday. You know, she was doing some stuff around the house. I'm like, I'm gonna catch a little bit of the game, and I turned out. I'm like, oh my goodness, Seattle, what's happening?
Yeah. I saw the second half of the game. Because
So you saw the demise.
I saw the demise. It
Okay.
was great, and I think I'd shut it off. I did watch the end because it was somewhat close right to the end.
Right,
You know,
right.
so.
So we got a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
fans
just-
saying, even though they lost, they played well.
And that is our bar here.
Is that their part and parcel?
That's our bar. If we are competitive and play decent, doesn't matter if you win.
Right.
Just if you're decent, we're happy.
Well, no, this time I was.
I don't
hoping
think they're
that they
happy,
were gonna
man. I
win.
think
would
they're-
agree.
I think they're getting ready to
Fire Freddie Kitchens?
not so much fire Freddie Kitchens. I think they're starting to
Throw Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I see that happening. If level of play continue, or
Right.
not
No,
even
the
level of
fans
play.
are.
If the L's keep coming and some blown passes, some things where he is not
Right.
performing the way they thought they were when they got all brainwashed. I do see them starting to really question it. I mean, they're already comparing him on Facebook to Manziel.
Yeah. I do see a couple things. I mean, he's clearly has not been nearly as accurate
Right.
as he was, but so then you got to go back a while. It's not like you suddenly become inaccurate in 1 year.
Right.
There's stuff going on, whatever that happens to be, and I leave that to the experts. But he's certainly having trouble there. But also, let's be honest, it doesn't help when your receivers are dropping passes every other time and having balls go off their hands and the other team for interceptions.
I mean, that'll definitely ruin your stats.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's it's more than him in my eyes.
But it's occasionally you got the, back
A little bit behind.
passes
Yep.
and all that.
Well, he's not on
stuff.
target.
Yeah,
He's
that's,
not on
that's what he
target.
led with. He's a little off, but still, even the ones that are a little back, you get two hands on it, you're a professional. You got to catch that ball. You have to. I'm sorry. You
I
gotta make
get
the
it.
catch.
I'm a realist. I think you are. Jeremiah, at times you show your little glimpse of realism, but I don't anticipate him to be. I mean, I think he's right on the mark where he needs to be for your number 2.
I would agree. I think he's going to be fine. I think that we can't jump off a bridge and throw him out and stuff like that and start.
I mean, he didn't have a full
redrafting.
season last year.
Right. The guy's played less than a full year
Right.
in the NFL.
Right. So, I mean,
let's pump the
you
brakes
know,
and go
I don't
from
know.
there. And we talked about that too. Last year, having no expectations when they went on their run.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing their, towards the end of the season, they're playing their second squad, third squad because they're just trying to finish the season healthy. Now they're expected to win. It's very different between being the hunter and the hunted.
Right.
Completely different.
Sure.
And, it is what it is.
My
He'll be
judgment
fine.
call whether if I would jump off him would be probably by week 15.
Wow, that's too late in the season, my man.
But no, giving him.
I mean, you only
a
got
good
16 weeks,
ankle.
dude.
Well, no, that hey, we should drop
next
him
game is-
like
No.
a potato.
See, here's what you can't do as a Browns fan, and I'll speak to you, but more or less I'm speaking to everybody else who's listening. You cannot say, well, I'm going to give him till week 15. If not, we got to go find another quarterback.
Can't do
That is the problem that the
Right.
Browns always have. You
Right.
got to stay the course.
Yep. He's your quarterback
Believe in
for
him.
the next few
Let
years.
him
No,
lead.
you sit there. You start really questioning though if he is that guy.
He is that guy, but he hasn't played a full
Right.
16 games.
Right. This is year one for him.
This is basically his first
Ish.
full
Year one.
The level of play with the NFL versus college is totally different.
Yep.
He's got some guys. I mean, I think Chubb is probably the biggest playmaker right now.
Still
Callaway's
yet.
starting to show
Still
some glimpses.
yet, I can say one thing. I haven't seen a fire and B even close to leadership.
Well, I think he's toned his fire.
still
down.
not
I think he's
there.
toned his fire down because that ends up kind of maybe shooting him in the foot a little
Yeah,
bit.
he got clipped a little.
All right,
I would agree.
so
yeah.
so he probably toned that down, or
Well,
maybe
no,
some of the
he
guys
hasn't-
are just like, dude,
Yeah.
He
bring it
hasn't
down.
turned it down on social media.
Well, it's a different playing field, pardon
right.
the pun.
Right. But he is in every other commercial, I will tell you, on
I
NFL
know
Sunday.
that's
I-
very annoying.
Yeah.
He's marketable though. They're selling him
for sure.
So
but that'll dry up too if you don't start playing.
Oh, of course, of course. Just let him appear once on Madden, and the curse will kick in.
That's right. No, I think it's too early though. And you cannot jump off the bridge this year. I don't care if they don't win another game the rest of the season. You cannot jump off the bridge on them. In my eyes, you got to stick the course with them. Give them a few years and go from there.
Right.
You do. You got to continue to build around them. He is rolling out on every play. It seems like to me that he's not handing off. He's rolling out to the right. And
you know what
he's
I've
running.
noticed?
Go ahead.
Honestly, when I was watching some highlight reels and stuff. Now I don't know what his stats are, his personal physical stats, how tall he is, whatever.
He's definitely short.
Jeff Garcia, he's too short for that line.
Well, they do say he's like, what, 6 foot, 6'1", something like that?
I think he's too short.
They did talk about that. I think when he got drafted, they were a little worried about that. I don't know. I do see it, and yeah, there is a part to that for sure.
If you watched, and it's not every pass, right? But it's kind of where he's back in that pocket. He's got the lines in front of him, and they're all standing tall.
Yep.
Trying
Hands
to do their
are
thing.
up. Yep.
And the way he has to throw that ball is arching.
Yeah.
And a lot of that trajectory I've seen from the incomplete passes, they're running their routes, but the ball's not hitting the wide receiver, tight end, whatever, where it needs to be. It's actually sailing over.
So if
true.
If that is the case, then in my eyes, that tells me that their blocking scheme of some sort has to change a little bit to create lanes for what he's trying to do. If you can,
it's tough on a pass block.
It
because
is.
You're going to get holding, what have you.
But if you have an idea of what he's trying to do, you can. There are systems to help with that.
I think he'd be a better option quarterback. Run more options. Get him moving.
At Oklahoma, he was pretty much shotgun the whole time and went, right?
And that's fine if you're
But he's
starting
6'1".
shotgun. Okay. But still, I mean,
6'1".
depending on the line, though, you got to clear it first.
Right.
Either option or start him in the shotgun.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's Kitchen's problem. I don't see him lasting long. I really don't.
No, I don't either.
I think
he might have the fire of "you're not with us, you're against us," roll up the crowd and this and that. But
no, there were people calling for his head a few weeks ago, and even still,
a little preliminary. I just think that even if they have a losing year this year, I think he'll still be the coach next year.
I would agree,
but that would be it.
Yeah,
that would be it.
Yeah, I agree. He'll be back next year, and I think they need to. I mean, otherwise you're right back to the same mode of just the carousel. I mean, you got to give him a chance.
Well, that's the problem. Is many people and that calling for another QB. What was it? The second or third week of the season and that.
Right.
But that's Browns.
That's what I've been saying.
And I shouldn't say that's the Browns. I don't live in another football market, obviously. Right. So I don't know how that goes in the local aspect of things when somebody's not playing well, but it just seems that is the Browns' MO.
Right.
Browns fans' MO. Losses
true.
are tough. Losses are tough, and I've even said multiple times, conversating with buddies, who are showing their frustration with the Browns. I said, listen, hey, Cincinnati hasn't won a game yet, guys. I mean, I get it. You guys understand it because 2 years ago they were 0-16, and they don't want to see that again. But be thankful you got some W's,
right?
Yeah. So.
Well, we did talk about it. I mean, it's not unusual when you bring in a lot of new people, which they did do.
Right.
A new coaching staff. It's not unusual.
It's all new.
It's not unusual for them to struggle year one.
Right.
I mean, that's not something.
It'd be just like as if there was a complete new lineup.
Right.
With the radio station here, and you were the only person that kind of just remained, and you had to teach everybody what to do and how to choreograph it, and everything runs smoothly. So,
there's
Browns,
issues.
I would say 2 to 3 years. I really do. This being the first,
right?
So, I don't know. Better luck next year. All I know is
don't they have the Patriots next?
Yeah. All I know is there's 10 games left. Okay.
Yeah, and you're looking good.
And I said 7-9.
That might be a stretch.
I know. It might even come underneath my prediction.
No.
So
I was hoping 9-7.
And I'm still getting the people like, okay, well, you got the Patriots. We're probably not going to win that,
Right.
But the rest of them, man, we got the Pittsburgh. We got Pittsburgh. We got Baltimore again. We got 2 Cincinnati's, and I'm thinking, yeah, but you guys said the same thing about some of these other teams that you lost to already.
Right.
They
Right.
should have been gimmies.
Right.
So it doesn't
I don't think Pittsburgh's a gimme anymore.
No,
Baltimore's not a gimme.
No, Baltimore's not. Baltimore,
No,
if anything,
Baltimore is going to be that one. They're going to come.
Baltimore's
going to
come back with a chip on their shoulder because
Yeah.
Exactly right.
they got spanked in their own home home facility.
Exactly.
So they're going to want to do it here. So yeah.
Oh, sure.
In Cincinnati, let's be honest, they're going to play because they don't want to go undefeated. They don't want to go.
They don't want to go
winless.
undefeated. They're going to be scrappy.
Right.
They're going to be scrappy.
Yeah, there are no
Well, to a
gimmies.
point, but then in a way they got Miami too. That they
Well, they
could
do have
probably
Miami,
knock
but don't
them.
forget. I mean, you can't underestimate the guy who's got
Right.
nothing to lose.
Right. I would agree. Absolutely
You know,
agree.
so the Browns' schedule, I wouldn't say is tough. I mean, obviously, a lot of people face New England. That's always a tough game, right? But I wouldn't say that their schedule isn't winnable, but it's also not gimmies.
Right.
You know,
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The Patriots, I don't think the Patriots are playing well.
no, they're not up to par.
They're
not up to their standard.
Right, but it's also week 6.
Right.
And I don't hear people jumping off a bridge over there, but,
Right.
it's week 6.
Well, it's kind of hard with your guys' record. Try to
But you know
jump
what?
off the
But there's a difference.
That's the
though.
difference.
That's the difference. Is all right. So the Browns are getting ready to jump off a bridge here, and people are like, well, we're trying to make excuses for 2-4 record, whereas the Patriots are 6-0. And they're not happy with that standard.
Their
They're
level
not-
of play.
They're just they know that's not what
There's
we
a
need
standard.
to be. Yeah.
Not letting they were already fans jumping off the bridge after week 1. You never
Right.
see.
They expect a better product.
The
Right.
one guy that went out, threw his jersey on his front lawn, and got gas and burned his jersey.
But they expect a better product, right?
Right.
So
The
Browns.
That
and
bridge
this isn't
is sailed.
This isn't a slam, but the fans just want to win. They don't even care how it's done.
Right.
Where the Patriots fans have been used to the dynasty,
Right.
and level of play, saying, "Wait a minute,
Right.
you can take your win,
Right.
But you guys played horrible."
That's exactly right. Big difference there. Big difference. Yep. Yeah. I think the Patriots will be okay. I think they'll continue to improve, and who knows? Antonio Brown may be back by the end of the season. Who knows?
We'll see.
Depends. Will he drop out of college?
I don't think they're worried about that. He can withdraw still probably, and if he takes an F, I don't know that it's going to really impact his future earnings.
Right.
But,
image washing.
yes.
All right, so it is week 6. We're
Yep.
almost halfway there.
Yep.
Do we see any glimpses of championship? I won't go Super Bowl, but do you see any glimpses of AFC or NFC champions? Which would be the
They'd
Super
have
Bowl.
to go on. They would have to go on a heck of a roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they have.
No, I'm not saying the Browns. I'm just saying any of the teams, any of the 32.
Well, I mean, I think Patriots are still the clear favorites. You know what I mean? Even with that. Chiefs have lost, 2 in a row?
Mm-hmm.
But they're still a good team. They're still a good team.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not anywhere writing them off by any means.
It depends if their running game still struggles.
They're talented, man. They just got to figure it out a little bit, The Browns actually, Chubb's done a great job, but they're going to be picking up in week 9. They'll be picking up the
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. So I mean,
Mix up the backfield a little bit.
yeah, I mean, that's going to make them a little bit more interesting as well.
We'll see because now I'm hearing OBJ. He's a bomb. He's not doing it. I said, listen, I mean, he's Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
He's getting double teamed. He's getting the looks.
Right.
You have to spread it out. You have to create the
Right.
running game to get the passing game and vice
Right.
versa. But at the same time, if dude's being doubled,
Right. That's why
they're forcing it.
There's a reason why
Right.
the other receivers and tight ends are
doing great.
They're doing awesome.
Right, because they're not getting the looks. They're not getting the double coverage.
That's exactly right.
The spy. I mean,
right.
It's just.
And that's understanding the game a little bit.
But that's what I'm saying is
Right.
like, do you understand I understand, as touchdown, 6 points, extra point, but do you understand the strategy?
right.
I mean, I was talking about somebody with I can't remember who it was, a punter and this and that. I'm like, dude, a punter's very integral to the game.
Right.
Well, what are you talking about? Dude, you understand field position and strategy? I mean, come on. This is, it's not just the glory of the quarterback and wide receivers.
Right.
I mean,
right.
yeah,
Well, it's almost in a way the art of war.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Necessarily.
Yep.
Your generals are putting their guys out on
Just
the
a
field.
different
and-
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's,
So are the Giants and Jets becoming competitive?
It looks that way, doesn't it?
I know that's sort of scary.
Yeah.
Not including even San Fran, what they did.
I mean, what's going on with
San Fran,
Eli?
man, they look good. He's done. I mean, what else you want to know? What's going on? With
I honestly
him? He's
don't
done.
think he even had it. You know, maybe he just got lucky with the Super Bowl and.
Well, that's when the
I
ball
just-
was caught in the top of his head.
Yeah, I've never looked at Eli with the hype that everybody else, and I'm not comparing him to Peyton.
well, yeah,
You know,
I mean,
but-
in my
but-
eyes, Peyton was a better quarterback.
Right.
You know, but I mean, Eli's been, you know, there's been
He was
some,
more
there's been
grounded.
but there's been some more there's been quarterbacks that have won that have not been great quarterbacks.
Sure.
Joe Flacco, right?
Joey Flacco.
I mean, but there's, I mean,
Kaepernick.
right? So I mean, so Eli was on a pretty good team
Right.
during that time. So
Right.
he was a guy who didn't cost them games,
Right.
and every once in a while helped them.
Safe completions that turned into money.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
and so I mean, you take it for what it's worth. I mean, that's what he was. and go
Honestly,
from there.
and I don't know if we have any Steelers fans listening, but I'll be honest with you, and this has nothing to do with Pittsburgh. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger's that great of a quarterback.
I think one of the differences.
I really don't.
Well, I think one of the
No, he
differences, though.
isn't.
No.
The only thing I would say though is he has had the ability to extend plays because of his size. He would get
Right.
hit.
He's a big dude. He was like
he was
Elway.
tough to bring down, and so he would make plays in my eyes that others couldn't just because of his physical stature.
And I get that.
In a
I'm
way,
just
but
saying
then he had the
talent.
talent.
Oh,
I'm saying
around
talent-wise,
him.
I don't think he is as great a quarterback.
Right.
He obviously the
He-
Steelers organization has been known for their line,
Yep.
their wide receivers, running backs, Bettis,
Bell,
Yep.
Connor, and all that.
and,
yeah.
and that goes to show like kind of equation to
Right.
Eli.
Right.
It's not about the quarterback.
Right.
It's what
the pieces
weapons you
around.
give him.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
that's exactly.
And
right.
it's very indicative of almost Tom Brady. Now Brady does have talent, right?
Yep.
But he can't do it on his own.
for sure.
It's the weapons that make
Right.
that team great.
That's exactly right. Well, I mean, it is a team sport.
Well, no, 100%.
You know, and
100%.
that's it. So yeah, anytime you bring it down to, you know, you're trying to rely on one or what have you, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
You know. So yeah.
Right.
So for sure, that's point taken on that. Are there any good games this week that we need to bet on or anything? I saw that you were looking at them earlier. I didn't know if you stayed with it.
Here.
I don't know. Let's
It's probably
check out the
something
monitor
out
here.
there.
Ooh, we might get our first win. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Might. I
Is
said
that the
might.
game? Is
I
that the
didn't-
game to go after?
I don't know.
I see a young man out there looking and laughing. He keeps going back and forth. Oh, he's leaving now.
Let's see. No, that shouldn't be. What else is there?
This is fine radio
It's
right here.
Monday.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe New York.
New York, which one?
I like New England, New York game,
Okay.
dude. Monday night.
You guys. I got New England.
That didn't take long.
So you go with the
going-
heart?
No,
Or the
New
smile.
I
England's
think,
a better
I think
team.
that's a good Monday night matchup, isn't it?
New England's a better team. It's in New York, though. And New England typically struggles in New York.
You want to do that game?
I'm in, man. As
All
long
right.
as I got the Pats, I'm good.
I'll take the Jets.
All right.
Not that I normally would, but
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game. I'm telling you, the New England always struggles against the Jets. They do. They struggle in New York. But
I know.
I still think the
you know
Pats
this
are better.
is you know what this game is, right? It's the battle of the PATS, Pats. Battle of the JETS, Jets, right?
Okay. I don't hear our famous leader over here taking a stance.
I gotta go Jets.
All right.
Just because A, I hate Tom Brady, then B,
I'll
yeah.
be eating well next
They
week.
struggle.
Can you hate?
My mother-in-law does too.
I know.
How do you hate greatness? I mean, you know, a guy who is
People who like mediocrity hate Tom Brady.
No, I don't like mediocrity.
Apparently.
here's a guy who doesn't have the physical stature, doesn't have the cannon arm, doesn't
Right.
have so he's Joe average person, and he's rock solid.
Because
Right.
he's living a Joe average life.
No. But that's based purely off
but
his
that's
talent.
not him, man. That's his. How could you not give a guy his due for that? I mean, it's not like he was born with all this.
You wouldn't switch places?
Yeah. Giselle.
I was just gonna say.
Giselle. All right.
You would switch places.
No.
No Giselle?
Oh, come on.
You'd say no to Giselle?
Yeah.
You're a
All
better
right,
man
we're
than
off
me.
the show. Show's now canceled. I can't take this anymore. What? Get out of town, Jeremiah.
It's been worse things here that happen. You know, at Lakeland, that you're saying, "Oh, I'll cancel the show." Yeah.
So
Keep
all right,
rushing.
so okay. Why would
But
you not
no.
want to switch places
yeah,
with Tom
let's
Brady?
get into this.
What's
This
the
is,
matter with Tom Brady? What don't you like?
Oh, many things.
All right, so let's.
I could take up an hour on this, but I'm not
Oh,
going
how about 2 minutes?
We'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You-
Go
come on.
ahead. What's the matter with Tom Brady? Why wouldn't you want to be in his shoes?
Because one thing is, I think behind the scenes, it's sort of
The what?
behind the scenes in his life. I think he's a stuck-up jerk.
Why? Okay, what's
For
your
one.
what's your rationale for saying that?
Not including in the locker room. Not including, I just hate his sort of ego.
Wait,
He doesn't
so
really have one.
so that's what I'm trying to
No,
find out.
occasionally he
so,
does have
So
an
give
ego.
me the
Show me a
give me a
athlete that
fact,
doesn't.
a stat, or something, or a situation that backs
Not
up
in a
what
way
you're
I think
saying.
he's overrated too.
Okay, so give me something that backs up anything you're saying right now. Just one thing, anything. Locker room. Go ahead. Give me one thing.
Well, I have no proof of the locker room, but I think behind
So
the
this
scenes
is purely personal opinion.
Right. Because I mean, if you watch like any interview he does, watch any post game, what does he always talk about?
The team.
Always team, other players, his family. That's all he ever talks about. So why are we getting on him?
Probably one of the most humble
I mean,
superstars.
The guy doesn't even take as much money as he can make because why? He wants others on the team to be able to be. He wants the team to be able to bring in
compensated.
more players so that way he can have more success. That's team orientated. So where's the I me you're talking about? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Necessarily.
Oh man.
What?
Not necessarily.
Not
that
necessarily
means
what?
anything.
Well, it
Well,
means
see,
so
for
give me.
perspective,
I'm giving you facts. You show
Someone
me
can go
something.
and take less money, but still be a jerk behind the scenes.
So give me
But why do you
your
think he's a
stat to
jerk,
break
though?
to back that up.
Why
I
do you
know.
think he's a
see,
jerk?
he's involved with a lot of community stuff. I mean,
Big family man.
Yeah,
I mean-
all he does is talk about others
Compared to
in a
his
positive.
previous girlfriend,
Who's his previous girlfriend?
was that Brooke? Whatever.
So how many years ago was that?
That's a long
Have you ever
time
dated
ago.
someone that you maybe not be proud of right now? I can think of one or two that I probably wouldn't be bragging about.
Sure.
You know, I
Not
mean,
that he has a kid to there. Don't you guys remember this?
so because he has a kid with somebody else, that's what we're.
No, not necessarily. But you're saying Family Guy. You don't see him walking around with that kid.
I don't know.
I can't speak to that one way or the other. But on the same aspect, you think he's the only person in our society who has
No,
more
it's
than one
messed
child from a
up.
different parent, from a different
No,
wife?
there's more other messed up things. I know that. in
So I've yet to
society.
hear anything that's got a ground that's grounded in
Because I'm
anything.
not wanting to go in the conversation because
I think Jeremiah just doesn't like the fact that he went to Michigan. I think that's where it's rooted in.
Could be.
No, that would be like deep down.
All right. So anyway, he's the goat regardless.
Yeah, you know,
He really is.
for
So,
sure.
Anyway.
All right, so what else? So we're gonna bet on the Patriots and Jets, huh? You
Yes.
guys are taking the Jets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hand in
I could think of other superstars who were recently in the media for their
Why,
their,
Antonio
their
Brown?
arrogance and miseducation on a lot of things. But
Brown.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're missing Brown. He was
I'm not even worried about Antonio Brown.
We're talking even more recently.
We're talking like within the past day
I
or
missed
two.
that one.
Oh yeah.
No, that's
His-
the whole China,
his
Hong
stance
Kong
on China.
thing, and essentially what he's saying
Basically,
is
the NBA is in bed with China. They want their money, so they're not
Right.
going to speak out against all the human atrocities that are going on with their overreach in Hong Kong.
right. And LeBron's statement is that shouldn't be talked about publicly.
LeBron now-
it's all about making his own money. It's about making it's a
It
brand.
is. He's protecting his money.
Right, which
Okay.
I get
but
it.
at the same time,
Right.
you can't come out on some of our issues within our country that
Correct.
have been brought up within the past 5
right.
to 8, 10
You lost
years.
all credibility in my eyes.
And now you want to talk about all the social injustices, whether
Right.
whether it's racial, whether it's
Whatever it is, yeah.
law enforcement, whether it's the ownership standing or what the owners should be called.
Yep.
True.
And then all of a sudden say, well, you really shouldn't have an opinion on what goes on and this and that.
Right.
And
And he's telling them that
And I'm like, wait a minute, LeBron James is
right,
saying
and the
this.
Houston Gem is just uneducated.
Right. So
he doesn't know.
And believe it or not, and I don't really want to turn this into a political show.
Sure, right.
But believe it or not, actually, there's members of Congress on both sides who have condemned his
Right.
comment
Right.
or
and what is
ignoring of the issue.
And when does anyone on both sides politically
And that's what they were saying. They're like, that's how bad
Right, it
his
is.
stance is.
Right.
That he's actually had both sides of the political parties meet in the middle.
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
It just took a long time for him.
That's
right.
His favorability right now is not
he
very
lost.
good.
He lost all credibility.
He did.
He did.
He did.
He lost
I have
all
to read
credibility.
up on this.
Yeah,
I
and
haven't
so
heard about
honestly,
this.
now if something were to happen in the states, whether it be racial conflict, and if he
Yes,
has to
he
come up
cannot-
and say something,
Right.
you discount whatever he says.
Discount whatever he says.
You lost it, man. You're
Right.
out. Sorry, no.
Right.
Yeah, he showed what his values were. Now here's an example of someone
Probably
who
his
showed what his
sales,
values
too.
are, and you
Because
should,
why?
Because of all the greed, the money.
No, I know.
And so that would be someone that you should be having a
Nike
stance
sales
on.
and all that over in China. Probably things being made over there in China and all that. That's the
Well,
only
he's talking
reason.
about Hong Kong and stuff. Yeah, he's
it
talking
has
about
to do with what's going on in Hong Kong.
yeah, and their uprising. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Well, it might be disturbing his sales of stuff. That's why.
Well, he can't speak against
He
China.
can't speak against
because,
it.
Because if he did, he would be. I mean,
Not
look what
only-
happened. The
not
NBA
only-
canceled games. They canceled.
Yeah.
So the NBA is losing out when they.
The NBA has a very large presence in China.
right.
No, I know.
I mean, think about it. They got what, 1 billion people in China.
Right.
So if
Right.
5%
I mean,
of the people are
people-
interested in the NBA, that's 50,000
Last-
people, right? I mean,
but the beauty of it is this. I heard last night on the news, and take it for what it is. It's the news. Whatever. I have to find some credence in the comment or what they were doing. They were actually burning LeBron James jerseys over there within the past 24, 48 hours.
good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. You know what?
Well, you know where they learned that from.
It doesn't matter. It speaks volumes.
Right,
It speaks
exactly.
volumes. It's these people over there are trying to fight for some basic human rights that
Yeah.
we take for granted.
Right.
I mean, you see video of people over in Hong Kong in mass demonstrations waving the American flag because they want what we have that we take for granted and we
Right.
just throw on the ground.
Right. Yeah, it's real interesting. Yeah. But anyway, that would be a good example of someone maybe not to be,
Right.
putting up on a pedestal, and there'd be actually some reason for that. So I would encourage you to investigate.
Right.
Look,
Nah, I haven't
Do
been
your
paying
own
attention to news.
research.
become educated on the issue.
Yes.
No, I was more worried about trying to get my one class that's finishing up this week stuff done.
Lucky for you, dude. You got a class ending up. I'm halfway through, and
Well, I
tell
still
you
got
what,
two
man.
others.
Midterms.
This is probably
people.
my toughest semester so far. I got and I shouldn't say it's tough. It's just heavy coursework, I should say.
All right. All right.
To the point where it's like, oh man, I got like 3 major things I got to do. Not right now this week, but due dates attached.
Well, that's I got two.
Yeah.
With that one, then I got 2 other ones.
Right.
Well, let me get into Laker athletics if we can for
Do,
just a minute.
please do.
So our men and women's teams have both qualified for postseason play already, and they still
Wow.
have some league games left. So
That means they're doing fantastic.
They're in the Final Four. So congratulations to both men and women's soccer.
Whoop, whoop.
Our men's team plays today at 3:15 start over at Lost Nation against Ancilla College. Our women's volleyball play tonight at 6:15 here in Laker Gym in volleyball against Columbus State. So a couple good matchups.
Very cool.
Now this weekend we had we played Muskegon Community College men's soccer on Sunday, and Muskegon's the only team that handed us a loss earlier in the year. And that game got out of hand in a hurry.
Wow.
It was out of control. There was 28 fouls called at a game, and if you don't know a lot about soccer, that's a lot of fouls. That,
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's just
it's rare to see 2 or 3.
Yeah, that was a lot of fouls. 2 red cards. There was one situation where there was a ball in the air in our box. Our keeper went out for it and collided with a kid on the other team. And honestly, the kid got knocked out.
Wow.
He was out, collarbone, concussion, teeth, the whole 9 yards. He was out. And I got to give credit to Lake Health Hospital's systems. Julie Phillips, our trainer in particular, handled the situation, got him out there, got the ambulance out there
Right
and
on.
stuff. She did a really good job. So we wound up losing our goalie and playing shorthand the rest
Right.
of the way. We had another goalie get injured, so we lost that game. But we're still in the final four, and there's a above average chance that we'll see that team again in the playoffs.
Right.
So that will be exciting if that happens. But that would be at Muskegon in that same weekend, November 2nd, 3rd, that
Okay.
weekend out there. But anyway, both teams are in. Come check them out today. A lot of fun. Teams are doing well in general. So
Very good.
check them out. Admissions is
Very
free. Still going from that aspect there.
Yeah.
So playoff baseball. Anybody watching baseball?
Yeah, I've checked out. Checked out.
The good news is the Yankees lost again last night. So
Cool.
if you're a Yankee hater like I am, that's a wonderful thing. And you know, I have a rationale for that if you ever want to get into it. But
No, I
do have facts to back up the statement.
You know my rationale behind that one
yeah, which one? I'm sorry.
about Houston winning and that
Yeah,
against the Yankees.
it's all about Kyle.
Yeah. Dodgers, you know,
Dodgers are
remember.
out. Dodgers
I
gone.
remember. Again.
The Nationals won last night as well, and they swept.
They're actually doing pretty good. I know
they
the
swept
city's
St. Louis.
excited.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Now they're going to be off a week,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see.
Rest up, maybe. I don't know. It could go both ways. Go either way.
That's exactly right. So, but they have been on fire.
Yeah.
Their pitching has been outstanding, and they've just been hitting the snot out of the ball. So good for them. They won, but the Yankees going down, Houston winning last night
Right.
was great. Garrett Cole was again very good. So you got to love it. You got to love it. Go Stros. Still think they're the best team in baseball. So
Oh, yeah?
we're looking for that.
Okay.
So look for that. So good for them.
Very cool. Very
But-
cool.
So what else we got happening, guys? Anything exciting?
We're almost a month away from the 5-on-5 dodgeball.
Ooh, that's picking up. Picking up
Yeah, I
steam.
mean we got our team formed. Staff
Shammy,
infection.
Shammy even came and saw me and said
Okay.
that he is on a team.
Okay, good.
And
good.
he's excited. He's going to practice while he's on vacation.
Outstanding.
But he doesn't want too much because he doesn't want to hurt his arm.
I get it.
You know.
I get it. With an arm like that, you don't want to ruin the shotgun.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
That's right. So he'll be or pop gun, whichever.
Right.
But he'll be back and he's ready to
All right.
take us down.
So students, faculty, staff, college community, what have you, if you are interested, see Patty McHugh on the
Right.
second floor of S building
Go
here.
bang on her door. She's just hanging out there.
So
She's
if you
waiting
come
for
up,
somebody.
the stairwell from the first floor, enter into the double doors to the student activities area and hang a left. Her office is
Immediately on the
couple
right.
paces down on the right.
Yeah, can't miss it.
Right behind
her name
the
is her name is Patty.
Yep.
But it's 5-on-5 dodgeball on November 20th.
Yep.
You need at least 5 people to play,
Right.
but you could have as many as you want hanging out on the
Our
sidelines.
team, what do we
for
got? Like
alternate-
7 or 8
I think
right
we have
now?
7 right now.
Yeah. So we got like some subs.
We are the 2-time winning champions.
Two-time defending champs.
We go by the name of Staff Infection,
Yep.
and there has not been a student team that has knocked us out yet. So I guess that's an open challenge to the student body.
It is, and sometimes it gets old just
It
continually
does.
winning.
It does.
You know
I
what
mean, sometimes the glory is there, but then it's like, man, it's old hat.
we're taking
It's old
advantage of
hat.
students who they're just inexperienced, I guess. I don't know.
know,
I mean,
right.
you would think they'd be taking care of us old.
I mean, we did have a challenge last year when the Student Veterans of America
They did.
had a couple players.
They did
on
have a couple
the team,
players, yeah.
and they really brought it.
Yep.
It was close.
It was close.
but we ended up overcoming and winning.
Winning, right.
Which seems to be our thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a student team out there that can take us down this year.
man,
I'd
it's-
really like to see more participation out of the student body and
Right.
forming of teams. Hopefully we can 2 years ago.
You get to throw balls at us. Come
Right,
on, you can
right.
hit us, and it's legal and it's fine. You won't get in trouble.
Right. I mean, we'll end up catching it and you'll be
Well,
out, but
you at least tried.
Right.
and-
Right. So
yeah, you got Eric's team, LSG, and Cab have 2 teams.
okay, so there's 4 that we know of total.
All right.
So that's a good start.
That's a good start.
It's a good release. I think it starts at 11 o'clock, 11
like
to 4.
that,
I
yeah,
think she reserved
something
the
like
whole
that.
gym for. So
Right.
let's get it on.
Yep. I have to start
Play some
loosening the old.
dodgeball.
Gonna have to start loosening the old arm up again.
I know.
No, God
Nothing
bless.
like a game of dodgeball to make you realize how old you are.
You're not kidding.
So.
I throw once a year.
Exactly.
But you go have your trainer on
And it takes 52
Yeah, my trainer on standby. Yeah,
it takes
Julie be around
51 weeks to
to
recover.
recover. That's exactly right.
So.
Yeah. So.
Well, I hate to do this to y'all, but I do have to boogie. I have a meeting I got to be at in H building. I got to hoof it over there.
Sounds good.
So,
Sounds good. Good time
I'm
to wrap
gonna
it
wrap
up
it up.
anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
come support out the Laker teams this weekend. Root for the Astros to finish it out and go Lakers.
Go Lakers.